for that if you're watching it back and it's garbage sound. But I wanted to let you guys know what I'm up to at the moment, because it is quite important, and I was going to make a video about it, but I'll tell you why I didn't in a second. But I'm just gonna, when I go back in, I've got to edit the video on making this super easy little twist top box, which I made out of firewood, which I'm very excited about, and it's crazy easy. It's not a great box, to be fair, but it's a box for beginners, and so hopefully that will help inspire some people. You don't need lots of tools, you don't need lots of materials, you just crack on with it and away you go. But what I'm doing at the minute is this. Now this here is the biggest glue up I have ever done, and that's because these are 18mm ply, and they are in 3 strips all the way along. So 3 strip, and that is going to be part of the table saw cabinet, and I can show you what that plan is. The reason I haven't done a video about this section of it, let's move this around here so we get daylight, is because my dad came over today and he helped me figuring out the sizes and all that sort of stuff, because as you know, I never do plans, and so I had no idea what I'm doing. But the table saw is going to sit in here. This side is going to be a little bit longer than I have currently on here, so I can have a 2-foot distance between the blade and the edge of the table. This side is about the same as what I've got here, which is fine, but I might put a flip up table on there if I want to extend that as well. So there's that. But we've got 1120mm wide, we've got 875mm tall in total with 18mm ply. There's been lots of numbers there that, like I said, Dad has helped me with a lot. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing to replace this. And this is you know, it has been adequate, but the problem with that is that it was made really badly. I've got 8 coasters on there, 8 wheels on there, purely because I didn't know what I was doing, and essentially how it is I kind of made the middle bit for the to rest the table saw on, and then I sort of tacked on the cupboards on the ends, and it was just a really bad job. So it's not stable. I can't sort of micro adjust my table saw to make sure it gets in the right area and all that sort of stuff. So that's annoying, and it's just a bit garbage. So after being given a whole bunch of really nice 18mm birch ply, I decided that I wanted a nice table saw cabinet, and so that's what I'm making. But yeah, like I said, with the glue up, I've only got 2 parallel clamps, so that wasn't ideal. But they're all the same width because they're all 3 boards wide. So so that's okay. So I could put, I've got them stacked. So I've got 1, 2. Where are we going? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 stacked on top of one another with a bin bag separating each one. And that hopefully is not going to stick to stuff. Now, one thing that I am a little bit concerned about is that when I was putting them, when I was putting them together, hi Dean, hope I'm not late to the party. Hi Joe, no, it's just a bit of a catch up, buddy. Just letting people know what I'm up to. When I sort of pushed these together, I did use a biscuit jointer, and I've borrowed a Performance Pro one, which is, the dust collection on it is garbage, but they're super cheap. You can pick them up on like Marketplace for about 20 quid, so I figured it was worth a go, and I think it helped with alignment a little bit, but we'll see at the end of the glue up how successful we've been. I've got just a bunch of really heavy stuff, like these are bits from a vise that somebody gave me ages ago, which I would say are around about 15 kilos a piece. I've got 2 of those on. I've got my scroll saw on there as well. So hopefully it's staying down in the middle. But have I got live chat on, or have I got top chat? Oh, I've got live chat, top chat. Right, there we go. So yeah, it's something where I have no idea if it's going to turn out properly or not. And I kind of rushed through with things today a little bit. Like, I wanted to record the whole thing properly, but when Dad was over and he was helping me figure out the sizes and what have you, but also it was handy to have another pair of hands because I had 8-foot lengths of this plywood. So having another pair of hands to be able to hold it when I cut through it on the table saw was fair enough. But I've taken a few pictures along the way, so I'm hoping that I can make a video. I'm covered in glue. I'm hoping I can make a video letting people know the sort of areas of the process, and I'll add some bits of me assembling things. But what I've done so far is just cut. I've got 4 pieces, which are the verticals, which are the 2 outsides, and 2 pieces in the middle, and I've got 1 piece which is the base. I've then got, on the other side of this table here, I've got some more pieces which will be running sort of lengthways rather than horizontally on the top, so I can make things look all lovely. So at the minute I've not really done anything technical other than measure stuff out and using this biscuit jointer, putting them together, putting bin bags in between each layer, so hopefully they don't stick. And I'm using Titebond 3 because that's what I had. So yeah, we'll see how productive it is. I am a little concerned that when I kind of closed up a joint, that maybe a bit of bin bag would have got stuck in there, which is a bit worrying. But we'll have to see. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't have to be perfectly straight because it's a workshop cabinet. But it'd be nice if they were. You know, it'd make life a little bit easier. So yeah, so that's where I'm at so far. So I'm not too far in the process. It's fairly early doors still, but I just thought I'd do a quick live to let you know what's happening, that I'm currently working on the super easy box that anyone can build with pretty much any tools. There's a little fly in here. Yeah, I'm using the Performance Pro, like I said, biscuit jointer that I'm borrowing. I've got some Parkside biscuits that came from Lidl. And there we have it. So it's just a massive, massive glue up, and I'm a little bit scared, but I needed to get it done today because I wouldn't have been able to relax if I didn't. Yeah, it's it's a bit terrifying. So I'm going to give it at least 24 hours, and I'm just not going to touch it. I'm not going to move it. I'm not going to do anything with it because I want to give it its best chances for a solid glue up. It's not too cold here at the minute, so I'm hoping that's going to help the reason why. And I used Titebond 3 because that's how I had a lot of it, but also I think it gives you a longer working time. And obviously what I did is I put each section, after I'd biscuit jointed each piece of ply like this, I put them all together, drew a line on, biscuit jointed in the lines. But once I did that, I put them on the I put the longest ones at the bottom, and then I glued them all together. I then gave them a little bit of a squeeze with the parallel clamps, and then when I was ready to do the next one, I would undo the parallel clamps so the first lot would stick together still, and then do the next one on top of that. So bin bag, then the next lot of pieces of wood, then another bin bag, piece of wood, and all that sort of stuff. But at every time I closed up the clamps so I could close things up with each level of the glue up. And I'm hoping that the working time on Titebond 3 means that it was still sort of wet enough when I got to the very top there, so everything's gonna kind of pull itself together. I'm a little bit concerned there's a tiny bit of an arc on the top, which is why I've got all the heavy stuff on there, and the reason for that could be because there's a bit of bin bag stuck in between a couple of levels, but the only way I'm going to know is by taking it apart, and I can't afford to waste the wood. So I'm hoping, keep my fingers crossed, that it's all going to be good. But yeah, this is going to be part of my new table for my table saw, which I'm super happy about. What have I learned so far? Measuring is good. Never really done plans, as you know, but turns out they're really quite a clever idea. We really were able, when we knew the sizes of things, we were really able to look at the wood we had and thought, how can we utilize the wood to its best? You know, so it wasn't just cutting willy-nilly. It'd be like kind of, right, well, if we cut these pieces, then that'll give us X amount left, which can then do that and that, rather than just cutting, which is my normal thing of just cutting one at a time and going, that'll be all right, and then getting to the end of it and going, I haven't got enough wood because I've only got 19 of these little lengths like this. So yeah, so that's all fine and dandy, so I'm pleased about that. What else have I learned? The biscuit jointer. Enjoyed using the biscuit jointer. Oh, it's right here. Yeah, it's one of these Performance Pro ones. It's quite old. It's really heavy. The fence isn't the best. There's a little bit of movement going on in there. I had to take it apart and unblock the dust collection. First of all, the port is too small for anything I own, so that's daft. But also it just everything got full up and stuck in there, so I had to take this bottom plate off and remove all the dust, which is no real biggie. But yeah, I don't think I would buy one of these because it seems that, as I said, that's a little bit, you can hear that it kind of rattles around a little bit. It's just something that I think could be more precise with better dust collection, because dust collection is going to be super important. Now, biscuit joiners, you don't have to get this Festool domino nonsense, unless that's the sort of thing you want. You've got loads and loads of money you don't know what to do with. But biscuit jointers you can generally pick up real cheap, really cheap on Marketplace. I believe I've read on forums that the Erbauer one is actually really quite good, and I've seen that for like 20 or 30 quid second hand on Marketplace, so that's something that you could be aware of. But there's usually a few on there, because I'm sure people got them through lockdown and then went, oh, I'm not actually doing any woodwork. So getting rid of them. So there's a lot that are in really good nick as well. But yeah, so that's that. I've learned that I definitely need more parallel clamps. I know that for nothing. But they're horribly expensive, so I can't afford those for the time being, but I do need some. But otherwise, patience, I think. Trying to do things properly for a change. Don't be scared. I am, Eddie. I'm very scared. But patience. And there's been, I don't know whether this is going to look overly great, because I'm sure the glue squeeze out is going to be a bit grim, but this nice 18mm birch ply, I don't know how thick the birch laminate is, so I might be able to sand a lot of it away to make it look pretty again. We'll see. But yeah, we'll just leave it at that. So I've learned a lot about that, which is good. Like I said, the video that I've got to edit, I shot that yesterday and just did an intro for it today, is about making just a super basic box. It's a beginner box that requires no special joinery, no special tools. I did try to do it all by hand, but then sawing through a big old bit of wood with blunt saws wasn't very good, so I've really got to spend some time and sharpen up all my saws at some point in time. Why is my beard all over the place? So yeah, so I couldn't use, I had to cheat and go on the table saw a couple of times, but that's it. You could do it all by hand. And I used the electrical orbital sander. It looked fab. Spalted box. No, not the spalted box. This is this one. This was just made from firewood that was next to my fire in the house, and it's got, to make life easier, it's got a nice little lid that just closes up like that. It requires nothing fancy to make it, and I left the kind of, there was bark on here, so I kind of left that relatively rustic. And I also did the grain vertical as opposed to horizontal, just for shits and gigs, you know. So it's not a great box. Oh, I've missed an episode. No, I'm still editing the video, buddy. So I've got to edit that. I'll probably edit that tomorrow. Yeah, that one is I just wanted to do something real simple that doesn't require any real knowledge or any real know-how or anything else. Something that anybody could make. And even if it is a bit ropey, you're not going to sell it. It's your first box. But what you can do, afternoon all, good time for a live. I can procrastinate a bit longer. Good work. What was I saying? See, this is why I shouldn't go off script. Trying to, not that I have a script for a live, of course, Oh yes, making boxes. When you make a box, and it's like when you make a tool. If you make a tool and use it, it might look pig ugly, but if it does the job, that's all you need it for, you know? Like, hang on. This live is turning into a bit more of a thing. But, like I made a handle for this little tiny hammerhead, just out of a bit of maple, and it's lovely. That does a grand job. This is a 4-corner clamp with the wheel that was broken off it, so I fixed that. I made that and put a bit there so I can spin that around, and that will kind of come out and go in and all that sort of nonsense. And of course, there's my coping saw, which is ridiculously ugly, but it works so well for clearing out waste in dovetails. It's absurd. So I love using it. It's solid enough, it does what I need it to do, and yeah, it's one of my favourite tools. But I mean, look how ugly it is. It's got a nice finish on it now though, so it feels nice in the hand. I also had a broken handle on this chisel, so I made that. No lathe or anything, but I made that by hand as well, and that seems to work out rather well. So that's good. But my point being, make stuff for you. Don't make stuff until you know what you're doing. Don't make stuff worrying about it being perfect, or worrying about it for sale or any of that sort of nonsense. Hi from Oldham. I saw your video on the wood mallet and decided to try and make mine. Excellent. Did you have any luck, Matthew? I'm fairly confident you could have made it better than mine, my friend. What was I saying? See? Oh, yes, making stuff. You make stuff for you. If it does what it was meant to do, then you'll love it. You will love using it, and you get a sense of satisfaction from it that you wouldn't have had before. And I think that is absolutely priceless when it comes to tools. I've got loads of tools that I've made myself. That was one of the first things that I made, kind of following a JSK Kubo video, which is just a couple of bits of wood with a bit taken out in the middle, got the parts made up, got sidetracked fixing old wood planes. Yeah, so it's just that. I've got a screw going through there. It's not even a proper thumb screw, so it's a pig to undo. But that, you've got no idea how often I've used that in the workshop, just because I made it. I didn't have to build it, or didn't have to buy it rather, and fantastic. And yeah, there's all manner of stuff. Like, talking about planes, I found out yesterday, or I dropped my plane, so I've broken the handle of my favourite plane, which is a number 5. So I could, this has been glued together in the past, I could glue it together again, but I think I will just make a new handle, because I've never done that before, and I don't know whether that's relevant for a video or not. I imagine there's probably a bunch of videos on it. So if I make a new handle, I'll have to make a new knob. I don't have a lathe. I know I've got lathe parts, but I haven't got a lathe that works. Yeah, it'll be all have to be made by hand. So if you think that would be interesting, please do let me know. But I think that's about it. Did I miss any comments? JSK Kubo is a great channel. Wish I had the money to make a lot of the things he makes. Yeah, I mean, he's gone into a lot more sort of stuff that requires metal pieces now, which I'm kind of less interested in. But no, there is a fantastic channel and definitely worth a watch. He's got some wonderful bits of kit on there. His panel saw that he's got on his wall is stunning. What else have I got? When it comes to the pillar drill, if you've been keeping up with that saga, I ended up taking the motor into professionals. There's a place in Norwich called Electrical Rewinds Limited, and they are giving a look over to the motor. It's very cool that they confirmed that it was single phase, which I was hoping that it was, because there was no label on the motor, no plaque on it or plate, but it definitely was single phase, so it's not been monkeyed about with that much. And it shouldn't have a ridiculous amp draw or anything like that. And the only other thing, if you saw the pictures on my Instagram, then you'll see that the outside had oh, Dad just ordered me a pocket hole jig. Thank you, Dad. Lidl are doing a lathe for 60 quid at the moment. Yeah, it's the problem that I've had with Parkside gear is stuff doesn't fit. Like they usually work weird measurements. So like I had a Parkside nail gun at one point, and trying to get the nails for it was a nightmare. And so they have weird things. But also there's a wood turning group on Wood Turning UK, I think it's called, and that everybody says that it's a bit of a death machine. I imagine it's going to be one of those products that you can use and then kind of get into turning a little bit and then go, right, well, I now very quickly need to get something else. But better than nothing. But I'm going to make a lathe at some point. I might use the motor from my old pillar drill to make a lathe. That could be fun. Can't remember what I was saying before that. No, the Parkside lathe won't take a chuck and is pretty flimsy. Better with the second-hand mini lathe. Yes, there you go. There you go. But yes, what I'm going to be doing, thanks to my brilliant dad, I will be putting these together for the table saw with pocket screws, which is something that I've never done before, and glue. So yeah, we'll do that. Keeping things affordable on the channel, you know, there isn't any gear that I have that's horribly expensive. So you know, because of the Prime Day coming up on Amazon, a lot of the trend gear, which I noticed this morning, is on sort of a pretty serious discount. So the pocket hole jig that was 85 quid is now like 50 something. So that's a nice little thingy off it. I really should have sorted out a thinking code for that, shouldn't I? Oh, I missed a trick there. I might do one. So if you're seeing this and it's not live, there might be a link in the description. But I think that's about it. I've told you a bunch of what's going on. We've got a box coming. Make your own tools, make your own stuff because it's brilliant. Doesn't have to look great. Just make it and do it. Just get it done because it's awesome. That hammer still, I've told you before, but that was still one of my first ever projects, and it's worked so well. It's worked so, I could have just hit it like that, couldn't I? It's worked so well that I've never stopped using it. Now I've got my other mallet, the big beast of a thing, which I've put somewhere safe. The workshop is absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. It's really stressing me out. I've got also, see that board there? There's a bunch of plywood left that I'm going to make some French cleats with. Ooh! So basically all of this stuff here is just all chaotic. I've got like painting that needs to be finished all along there, and like this bit here is actually a piece of MDF that I painted white, so I need to take that down, paint the wall, and I've got some big screws, coach bolt type things, so all of this can be glued screwed directly to the brick outside because it's ropey as you like. But this is all chaos. It's just getting too much now, so I figured a French cleat system would be the way forward for that. So yeah, that's the plan, I think. I don't think I've got anything else to tell you. I don't. But yeah, I just wanted to explain about the table saw thing because, you know, it's chaotic and I'm quite scared. What we really need to build is a garage extension. Do you know what, Mick? We've actually got a garage that's twice this size, but because we rent the house, the other half of this garage is storage for the landlord. So that wall there is just separating the two halves, and it's just storage that he's not been in for years. So it's super annoying that I can't have access to that, but I'm not allowed. But yeah, it's a bit troublesome. Right, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'll probably stop boring you and waffling on. But yeah, that's what we're up to. That's what's going on with the table saw. And other bits and bobs. I think something's just broken. No. Jobs are good. And so I just wanted to keep you in the loop. Thanks very much for watching, and don't forget to click on the video Oh no, I missed it. Yeah, sorry, Claire. Don't forget to click on the video that goes up tomorrow. Super basic box build. I learned some bits and bobs along the way. Not saying that I'm a great box maker, but I learned stuff along the way. And just make something. Get out there and get it done. Right, I'll see you soon. Thanks very much for watching. Speak to you later. Bye.